Vicar van Baskerville, hound dog of the Baskerville family, falsely accused of conspiring with a demon, punishment, death by guillotine. But before his head fell from his shoulders, he made a promise to himself. If he was allowed to live again, he would have his revenge. The next moment we are shown a room where newborns are lying. Vicar doesn't understand what's going on, because just now he was on the guillotine. He feels that his body feels heavy and unresponsive. At the same time, the head of the Baskerville family was examining the children, clearly annoyed that there was no one special among his dozen offspring, except for one, the quietest. When he was done, he ordered the nannies to take the children to the Cradle of Blades. Seeing the young face of Hugo Le Baskerville, Vicar was 100% convinced he had been reincarnated as a child. All his past life, he was a hunting dog, raised in poor conditions as a bastard, taught to be loyal to his duties and family. Murder, espionage, threats, all the dirty work, and for one purpose only: make the Baskerville family the best in the empire, and earn the recognition of Hugo Le Baskerville. But all he got was an execution. Now he's going to have to do it all over again and get revenge. Cradle of Blades, one of the trials of the Baskerville family. The children are thrown into a maze of swords that leads to the River Styx, testing their bravery along the way. The legendary River Styx turns a child's body into steel if they ever reach it. In a previous life, Vicar's brothers pushed him off the road, and he didn't have time to get the effects of the river. But this time, things will be different. Everyone stares at the River Styx in shock. While underwater, the water penetrates the child's wounds, changing everything down to the bones. Vicar is about to suffocate but continues to hold his breath in the water. The servants are ready to jump into the river to save the child. Hugo asks the butler how long the bastard's been underwater. 7 minutes, say Barrymore. Hugo Baskerville was delighted, suggesting that the bastard could have died in such a long time. As he approached the river, Hugo said, "Son, it's time for you to get out." While hearing Hugo's voice, Vicar decided to hold on to his breath, but yet he couldn't. Hugo got the kid, saying that fate had rewarded him with a greedy child who decided to even drink water from the river. He turned to the butler and asked his name. Vicar van Baskerville, the one who came back from hell to chew off Hugo's head and wipe out the Baskerville family forever. The illegitimate son of Hugo Le Baskerville. Vicar van Baskerville, at the age of 18, could be called a genius, but in his family he was an ordinary private. At 20, he was already called to kill, spy, and subdue. At 35, he was chopping monsters one by one, fighting against demons. At 40, after defeating hell, he was awarded, and his reward was the blade of the guillotine. Opening his eyes, Vicar notices that he is in the children's room. He did well with the ablution in the River Styx, and now the starting point is much better than in his previous life. Suddenly someone entered the room. He could not see the face, but he heard the maid say, "Madam." The maid was holding a box, and when she came closer, she put the box in his bed and left. The lid opened slightly, and 2 bloody mambas crawled out. Vicar realized that someone from the main family had sent 2 rare vipers to kill her son's rival. The snakes rushed at Vicar, but he grabbed them before their fangs could pierce his body. He will overcome any obstacle in his path to achieve his goal. The next day, shocked servants looked at a peacefully sleeping child with the scraps of 2 vipers lying around it. That same day, an investigation was held at Baskerville Manor. All the nannies working that night were questioned, and then of course, executed. But the truth was never discovered, and only Vicar knew. 8 years later, we are shown a class of students. Today, they are learning the levels that swordsmen possess. Those who cannot put mana into a sword are called sword beginner. Those who can do it, but are a bit sword expert. Those who can release a liquid aura from a sword are called sword graduator. And finally, those who can turn mana into a solid state are called sword master. The students are clearly interested in the story, except for one. The teacher noticed that Vicar was lost in his thoughts again. He was thinking about only one thing: how to overtake Hugo and kill him. The 3 brothers are obviously up to something. After the lesson, they decided to punish Vicar because he was Hugo's illegitimate son. Many rumors were going around, so they decided to see for themselves that everything they were saying about Vicar was a lie. He remembered those freaks well. They were the ones who had cut him to pieces when he was falsely accused. Even in this life, they became his enemies. One of the brothers put a knife to Vikir's throat and said, "They say that the skin of one who has been dipped in the river Styx is like steel, so you won't die even if I cut you?" And the other two decided it was time to see if he could hold his breath for 7 minutes, because that was another lie. Something clearly didn't go according to their plan, because the brothers' faces began to change. In a minute. In 3 minutes. In 10 minutes. A little scared, they decided to let go of Vikir. The next second, one of the brothers holding him looked at his hand. He cried out in pain, and Vikir spit out his bitten-off finger. "You didn't mind playing, did you?" asked Vikir. 2 brothers said they were not afraid, but the third had a different opinion. The brothers were clearly unhappy with his answer, but he objected that he had lost a finger. The other 2 brothers agreed to take him to the infirmary, but Vikir said he wouldn't let them go. This answer enraged one of the brothers, and he stabbed him right in the heart. But the blade could not wound Vikir, because all the legends about the river Styx are true. He grabbed the assailant's arm, after which he delivered a fist punch directly to his face. The third got into a fighting stance, but Vikir knocked him down with a leg kick. After that, he said that they need not fear him, and he would even let one of them go alive. Taking the knife, he threw it at the brothers' feet, saying they just needed to decide who would leave. Vikir warned that he would not wait long, so they needed to make a choice quickly. Seeing the knife, the Baskerville trident began to disintegrate from the inside. After some time, Barrymore reports to the head of the Baskerville family. The Morgue family, who claimed the ruby mines as their own, suffered a bloody loss in the mines. Hugo is glad. Soon his enemies themselves will come to him for help. Barrymore also reported that Vikir had won first place in calligraphy and that the practical test would begin in 5 days. Vikir's achievements pleased Hugo, but Barrymore wanted to say something. Recently, there was a big fight in the palace between the children. Hugo asked how many died. No dead, but Highbrow had his teeth knocked out, Middlebrow had his jaw broken, and Lowbrow had his finger amputated. Now they are successfully healing physical injuries, but psychological ones. And the reason for their condition is Vikir. What Hugo heard surprised him very much. Vikir is standing in the office of the Baskerville Patriarch. Hugo is happy to see his son. He heard rumors that he crippled 3 high school students. Vikir calmly noted that everything is fine because they received medical care in time. But Hugo is interested in a different kind of disability. After that day, they stopped eating together and even talking to each other, and their relationship deteriorated. So Hugo asks if he thinks such behavior is inappropriate, since it was Vikir who planted the seed of discord between the brothers.
"I am much stronger than them. How can strong people be wrong?"
answered Vikir. Hugo said that the brothers came to him before Vikir and told him that he was forgiven.
Forgiven?
Memories from a past life. The last surviving daughter of the Baskerville family came to Hugo one day. After a long time, she became a nun and eloquently said to Hugo, "You are forgiven," to which he replied,
"Forgiveness is just an excuse for weaklings who have no power for revenge."
Hugo liked that answer, adding that weakness is a sin. So, turning to Barrymore, he ordered him to reward Vikir with any treat he asked for. Vikir, clearly expecting to be punished, was surprised and asked if he could even ask for chocolate. After getting permission, Vikir and Barrymore were about to leave when suddenly Hugo turned to Vikir.
"Son, good luck on your exam. Don't lose to your relatives."
"Yes, my lord."
Vikir still felt hatred towards Hugo. In the kitchen warehouse, Barrymore showed all the chocolate supplies they had, but Vikir said he didn't want the processed product. He wanted the cocoa beans, the most flavorful and strongest there was. This greatly surprised the butler and the cooks, but he was still given what he wanted: blood beans, the most flavorful variety. 1 bean can make about 100 liters of chocolate. It was exactly what Vikir was looking for, while Barrymore marveled at the young lord's preferences, not even realizing that Vikir would use them in 5 days at the practical test, making this an unprecedented day in the Baskerville family. The Baskerville family is known around the world as the Berserk family. Their children are raised in an early educational environment. On walks, they must run up steep hills to develop physical strength. They are not allowed to rest or go to bed early, and to adapt to the harsh environment, they have to sleep with monster corpses. And after the age of 8, there's a deadly level of difficulty for young hunting dogs. 5 days later, practical evaluation, survival exam. The young dogs stand before their examiner, Pavlov van Baskerville. Today they will have to go to the Red Mountain filled with many Thoranic monsters. The essence of the practical test is very simple. Survive a month in this territory hunting strong monsters. Everyone will receive a certain number of survival points. If you survive without injury, you will receive 30 points. Surviving alone, 50 points. Survive a fight with a monster, 70 points. Complete all tasks, 90 points. And of course, you can earn extra points by taking a token from another student. Death is 0, and no one gets 100 points. Also, it is not recommended to go beyond the unknown territory. There are still many unexplored places on the mountain. Throughout the practical test, the students will be supervised by examiners and scored. The exam will begin after the bell rings. Pavlov van Baskerville rang the bell, and at that very second, the clearing where the students were standing became empty.
Hi guys, thanks for watching the first part of the retelling of Manhwa. I hope there will be a continuation soon. Well, if you liked it, put a like and subscribe to the channel. It will help me a lot.